Hello and welcome to the 741 channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today I'm going to do my first Ham Radio POTA activation, or Parks on the Air. I'm going to head out to Bigelow Hollow State Park, which according to the POTA database has not yet been activated. So it'll be a first for me and a first for the park if I can make enough contacts to qualify for an activation. Okay, so let's take a look at what I'm going to bring along for this activation. Now everything in here is just kind of haphazard. I don't have a nice neat go box yet since this will be my first activation. I guess we can consider the vehicle my go box. Anyway, the centerpiece of the activation of course will be this Yaesu FT891. I recently purchased this from a local ham who wanted to sell it, so I got a decent price on that, and I know it's a good radio. He's been using it for a while and took good care of it. Over here, of course, I have a spare camera, some log sheets that I'm going to use. Now, these are actually field day logs, but I've already got these printed out and on hand, and I should be able to use them just fine for logging the POTA contacts. Over there, of course, is my MFJ antenna analyzer. I don't think I'll need that, but I'm going to bring it along just in case. And I've got a cord to power it off of the vehicle here. So over here, I've got a power cord for the radio, of course, and then I've got some bungee cords and some pieces of rebar for my antenna system. Now, I've made some videos about the antenna that I've constructed for this, and I'll leave a link in the description below to the videos I made detailing that antenna. Over here, of course, is just a foldable chair, and then over here, this is the center support for my antenna, and I'll just kind of bring this out so you guys can see. This is the main part of the antenna. This is my 40 and 20 meter linked dipole that's all wound up on this insulator. And again, if you want to see details, check the description for a link to the video about this antenna. Over here, I've got a length of about 25 feet or so of RG8X coax that I'll use to feed the antenna. And then over here is another antenna that I can put on the pole. I don't plan to use this one, but this is just an 80 meter only dipole or inverted V. And I can use this antenna if for some reason 40 and 20 are completely dead or I can't get out. I can try 80 meters as a last ditch effort. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything I'm going to need. I'm going to head over to the park. Okay, so here's a look at the spot. I'm just kind of starting to get set up here. You can see I'm able to back right up to this picnic table. I've got the antenna starting to go up over there. One leg of it's going to be in the trees, and then one leg of it is going to be over here on this side of the picnic table. You can see I got to be careful. There is another site right there. There's a vehicle parked there, but I don't see anybody, so I don't know if he's off on a boat or fishing or something like that over on the pond there. But okay, so the antenna is up. I'm not sure if you guys can follow it there. It's a little closer to the ground on the ends than I'd like. And then of course up there it's sort of in the trees, and then the whole other leg is in the trees over there. Since this is my first activation, I didn't really know the lay of the land. And this is what I've got to work with. It's the middle of summer, the place is busy, and this is about the best spot that I'm going to get today. Okay, so the moment of truth. Let's fire up the radio and just first see if I can hear anything. And then I'll work on getting myself spotted on the POTA website and see if we can make some contact. Okay, hearing a few weak signals out there, so something's happening. I think what I'll do now is try and get the POTA website up on my phone here and spot myself. Is this frequency in use? 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 CQ POTA, CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November 1, November Uniform Golf. November 1, November Uniform Golf, calling CQ POTA from K-1648 Bigelow Hollow State Park in Connecticut. Whiskey 8 Zulu Sierra Tango, I believe it was. This is November 1, November Uniform Golf.
Roger, roger. I got you about a 4x8 in Michigan. 4x8 Michigan, QSL.
QSL, you are a 5x3 into Connecticut, park number K-1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park.
Roger, roger. Thanks for the new park, and thanks for the activation. 73s, and have fun.
7-3, and thanks for the contact. You're my first activation and my first contact, so thanks. QRZ, Parks on the Air, November 1, November Uniform Golf.
November 3, Alpha Romeo Sierra.
November 3, Alpha Romeo Sierra. Please copy November 1, November Uniform Golf at K-1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park in Connecticut.
Roger, roger. Thank you very much. You're a 4444 into the state of Maryland, QSL.
QSL on that, you are 5x5 here at the park.
Thank you very much, 73, and have fun.
7-3, and thanks for the contact. QRZ, CQ POTA, CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November 1, November Uniform Golf. November 1, November Uniform Golf, CQ POTA.
Kilo 8 Hotel, Quebec.
Kilo 8 Hotel, Quebec. Please copy 5x5 into K-1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park.
QSL, thank you very much for activating 1648. You are 5555 Michigan, Mike India, QSL.
QSL on the 5-5 into Michigan. Thanks for the contact. 7-3. November 3, Quebec Whiskey. Please copy 5x1 into Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park.
QSL, you're 5x3, Maryland, MD, over.
QSL the 5x3 into Maryland. Thank you very much for the contact. And 7-3. November 1, November Uniform Golf, QRZ.
Park the park, park the park.
Go ahead, park the park. This is November 1, November Uniform Golf, Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park.
Mike, Lima, Juliet, WF3MLJ.
Is it W3MLJ Whiskey 3 Mike Lima Juliet? Is that right?
Roger, 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 roger. You're 5x2, and I would also like to work with my club call, Whiskey 3 Uniform Delta X-Ray, over.
Okay, Whiskey 3 Uniform Delta X-Ray also. I copied your 5-2. What's your park number?
Yeah, roger, we're at K-1387, Kilo 1387, K3, Kilo 1387, Marine State Park in Western Pennsylvania, over.
Okay, QSL the Kilo 1387 in Western Pennsylvania. Not sure if I said it, but you are 5x3 here into Connecticut today.
Okay, roger, thanks for the call back, 73.
73, and thanks for the contact. QRZ, November 1, November Uniform Golf.
Kilowatt 4, Charlie Alpha Echo.
Kilowatt 4, Charlie Alpha Echo. Please copy 5x5 into Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park in Connecticut.
Kilo 4, Charlie Alpha Echo, copy the 5-5. Thank you for 1648. You are 5-5 in South Carolina, Bob. 55, South Carolina, 7-3.
Copy the 5-5 into South Carolina, 7-3, and thank you very much for the contact. QRZ, November 1, November Uniform Golf, calling from Kilo 1648.
Charlie 2, November Echo.
Okay, got a couple on top of each other. Let's try one more time.
Kilo Charlie 2, Foxtrot, November Echo.
Kilo Charlie 2, Foxtrot November Echo, I believe it was. Please copy 5x3 into Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park in Connecticut.
QSL, correct on the call. You're 5x5, 55 New York, QSL.
QSL on the 5-5 into New York. Thanks for the contact. QRZ, November 1, November Uniform Golf.
Victor Echo 3, Lima Delta Tango.
Victor Echo 3, Lima Delta Tango. You are 5x2 into Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park.
Kilo Roger, thanks for 1648. You're 5 and 5 in Ontario. Thanks for the new park, 73s.
Thanks for the contact, 7-3, and enjoy. November 1, November Uniform Golf, QRZ.
Kilo 8, Kilo Papa.
Kilo 8, Kilo Papa. Please copy 5x5 into Kilo 1648.
You're about 5 and 1 in Northeast Ohio. Thank you for the park.
No problem, 7-3. Thanks for chasing, and we'll catch you later. November 1, November Uniform Golf, QRZ.
Kilo November 4, Quebec, Victor.
Kilo November 4, Quebec Victor Victor. Please copy 5x5 into Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park in Connecticut.
QSL, you are a 5x5 also in Virginia today, over.
QSL on the 5x5 into Virginia. Thank you very much for the contact. I was just in Virginia on Friday. Made it home to Connecticut Friday night.
QSL, those wishes 73s and good luck with the parks on the air.
Okay, 7-3. Thanks for the contact. QRZ, November 1, November Uniform Golf.
Delta Alpha.
Had a station ending in Delta Alpha. Try again.
It's Alpha Delta 8, Delta Alpha, like DA, District Attorney.
Okay, copy the District Attorney. Alpha Delta 8, Delta Alpha. Please copy 5x2 into Connecticut. Park number Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow. Okay, copy the 5x2 into West Virginia, and thanks for the contact. Enjoy the day. November 1, November Uniform Golf, QRZ.
November 4, Echo X-Ray. November 4, Echo X-Ray.
November 4, Echo X-Ray. Please copy 5x3 into Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park.
Please repeat my signal report. Over.
You are a 5x3, 5x3, 5x3.
Okay, QSL, you are 4x5, 45 in North Carolina from November 4, Echo X-Ray. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the 4x5 into North Carolina. Appreciate it. 7-3 and QRZ, November 1, November Uniform Golf.
Kilo Echo 8, India Hotel X-Ray.
Kilo Echo 8. Can you give me the rest of your call?
Yes, that's Kilo Echo 8, India Hotel X-Ray. Kilo Echo 8, Indiana Honolulu X-Ray. QSL?
QSL on the Kilo Echo 8, India Hotel X-Ray. Gotcha there. You are 5x3 into Kilo 1648, Bigelow Hollow State Park in Connecticut.
QSL, you are about a 3-3 into southeastern Ohio.
QSL on the Southeast Ohio. Thanks for the contact, and thanks for chasing this morning. QRZ, November 1, November Uniform Golf. Okay, so at this point, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start the truck for a little while just to make sure I haven't drained the battery too much. And I'm going to unlink the 40-meter legs. I'm going to switch over to 20 and see what I can do there. CQ Parks on the air. Whoops. CQ Park. CQ. Okay, well, it looks like I've got something wrong with the power cord going to the radio. It was okay on 40. Every once in a while it was cutting out. You might have seen it in some of the video clips previously. But now on 20, anytime I key up, you can see there that the radio just cuts out. I think I've got a bad Anderson power pole crimp or something. And on 40, it was working just well enough to do what it needed to do, but on 20, it's probably pulling a little more power, and just to protect itself, the radio is shutting off. But anyway, it looks like I got about 14 contacts on 40, so the park has been activated, which is good. So I'll go back and play with the setup here, and next time we'll try 20. So the activation went okay, considering it was my first time out. The first problem I had is that the fuse that's inside this cigarette lighter adapter was blown when I went to use it. I used it the other day and it was fine, so I'm not sure what happened, but luckily I had another one with me, so I was able to get on the air with it. Now, as you saw in the video, I started out on 40 meters and I made 14 or 15 contacts. Now, a couple of times during the activation, the radio actually cut out when I would go to transmit. And at first I thought it was because I had closed the hatch on the wire and that it was putting pressure either on this thing or on one of these power poles here and causing it to disconnect. So I ended up opening the hatch there for most of the activation. It seemed okay, but I know that the more metal I have near the antenna, the more it detunes it, so I had kind of wanted to close that because the SUV here was pretty close to the antenna, but anyway, it seemed like every time I closed it, the radio would cut out. So then after I made all the contacts on 40, I decided to switch over to 20 and see how it would work with my linked dipole there. And once I got over to 20, every time I keyed up, the radio would shut off. Nothing I did fixed it. I played with the wire a bit because I, again, thought I had a bad connection and just nothing would work. So I ended up packing up and coming home. So I did a little bit of debugging on the setup and tried to figure out where the loose wire was. And it turns out the wire is fine. The problem actually is the vehicle. And I kind of suspected this might be an issue, but when I did my initial testing, it really wasn't a problem, so I went with it. But the problem with this is that this is, of course, a Chevy Tahoe. It's a big car, and I'm using a power port here in the back of the vehicle. Now, these things aren't known for having the most robust wiring inside, so that length of wire from that power port up to the engine and through the fuse block and whatever connections are being made just gave us way too much of a resistance or an IR drop, so that for whatever reason on 40 it was marginal and worked most of the time, but on 20 every time I keyed up it just wasn't enough and the radio would shut off. Now, the way I tested that is I first put a dummy load on the radio, tried running it from there, and it did the same thing on a dummy load. I moved the radio with the dummy load and the same wire over to my Toyota, plugged into the cigarette lighter there, and it worked fine. There was no issue. So really the problem is the wiring in the truck. So what I think I'm going to need to do is make a short pigtail with a power pole adapter on it right at the battery so I can plug in there, and hopefully that will solve the problem. If not, maybe I've just got a weak battery in this thing and it's time to replace it. So either way, like I said, the activation for my first one was a success. You know, things are a little haphazard here. As time goes on, I'll probably consolidate things and have things a little bit more readily available. But despite all the power problems, the activation was a success. The antenna worked great on 40 meters. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to get the power situation buttoned up here, or maybe get another battery unit or something that I can run from, and I'll try another activation here in the near future, hopefully. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to leave a comment or subscribe, feel free to do that as well. And if you'd like to support my channel in another way, please consider visiting my Amazon store, which you'll find linked in the description below. Thanks for watching.